Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF NXT. I, Gorilla Monsoon, with Corey Graves and with Booker T. And today on NXT, we're going to talk about what happened yesterday on Monday Night Raw, or Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre ended up beating Ecliptor in yesterday, and was irked and angered that he would have to yield until SummerSlam to fight either Asuka or Ricochet. Well, I can tell you one thing right now, Gorilla Monsoon. I was there on Monday Night Raw, and I saw it happen. Drew McIntyre is irked. He's angered. He believes he should be the three-time TWF heavyweight fighter. He thinks he shouldn't have to yield for Asuka or Ricochet at Bash at the Beach and have to fight whoever wins at SummerSlam. He doesn't think that he should have to do that. Well, I know what Booker T says. Sometimes you get lucky, like I did, and I was in WCW from between 93 while till 2001 while. And somehow I already had one match and I lost, and then I was told I had another match and I won. But then again, I understand where Drew McIntyre is coming from. Why should he have to yield? He could fight Asuka right now. Why does he have to yield until after Asuka or Ricochet have their match at Bash at the Beach just for him to have his match at SummerSlam? Because that's the way it was booked, Booker T. That's the way it was written. That was the oversight. And if Drew McIntyre didn't like that oversight, and he wouldn't, then he shouldn't have fought before beating Keith Lee and getting that right, Gorilla Monsoon says. I can tell you one thing right now, Corey Graves said. Drew McIntyre is not any man, to fuck with. He never was the man to fuck with, to be earnest with you. But the way he is now, I don't think anyone wants to fuck with him. Well, here comes Drew McIntyre to the ring now. All right, everyone. Yesterday I just showed that I should be fighting Asuka right now, and that I shouldn't have to yield until Bash at the Beach between Ricochet and Asuka, so I can fight whoever wins at SummerSlam, which I think is just dumb. I truly think is dumb. I seek to want to get a hold of the main wicker of the toy wrestling gathering, Ric Flair. Only I was told that Ric Flair is no longer the main wicker of the toy wrestling gathering. That now I gotta deal with that bitch Astronema, who is the overseer of leadership of the toy wrestling gathering. Astronema, come out here now. Shit. Whoa! Fuck. Yeah. Okay, you get over here. I get over here. And it's true, Ric Flair is no longer the main wicker of the toy wrestling gathering. Alright? I have to name someone else as that soon. Or I can just go right back and do that again myself. Stand up. Ecliptor won't stand up. Alright. You're gonna have to yield until SummerSlam to choose who you're gonna be fighting against, Drew McIntyre. That's the way it is. And somehow you got lucky and you beat Ecliptor. I don't know how you did, but you did. I want the match now. I want to fight Asuka now. I already beat Ecliptor, so I don't think you can throw anyone else at me. Well, don't be so known about that. Because I can, and I will send someone else at you. Yeah, Ecliptor says. You should know that if you start something with her, you start something with me. And you start something with Gajora as well. So here today, you're going to be fighting Gajora. So I hope that you like that. Keep it up, and you'll lose the right to fight either Asuka or Ricochet at SummerSlam. Oh, Astronema, I'm not done. You get back here. I'm not done talking to you two. This isn't over. Well, I believe it is over. Threatening my sister, threatening my fostered father, I guess, what do you want to say, Ecliptor? You are going to deal with me, Drew McIntyre. And I guess you'll want to deal with Elgar, and you want to deal with Andros next too, I guess. Oh, and Astronema didn't tell you that if you keep it up, you'll lose the right to fight either Ricochet or Asuka for the TWF heavyweight winnings at SummerSlam. You know? There we go. Yeah, Astronema made me aware of that, Gajora. But I'm not frightened of the King of the Fiends or the Kaiser of the Fiends. I'm not frightened of you. I'm not frightened of you at all. Well, we do know that the Kaiser of the Fiends, or the King of the Fiends, Gorilla Monsoon says, Gajora, has been in the TWF since between 98 YL, and he's won almost every strap there is to win. If there was a Hall of Honor, he would be in it. And now Drew McIntyre going right after Gajora, the King of the Fiends or the Kaiser of the Fiends, Gorilla Monsoon said, with those blows. And a Claymore kick, but Gajora doesn't go down due to his tail being hung up on the rope. I tell you what, Corey Graves says, Drew McIntyre is starting to rub folks in leadership the wrong way, you know. And I don't think Drew McIntyre can do what other folks before did. There's a grounds to why Astronema has been in leadership as long as she's been in. Drew McIntyre drop kick down Gajora, Corey Graves says. Yeah, you're right about that, Booker T says. I mean, you can't do that. I mean, you can, but only very few list of folks could pull it off, Booker T says. Like Steve Austin or The Rock, or the only ones that could kind of pull it off. Even Shawn Michaels and Hunter S. Helmsley could kind of pull it off. But everyone offshooting from that. I don't think Drew McIntyre can pull it off. But I also believe that Drew McIntyre shouldn't have to yield until SummerSlam to have his match, Booker T says. And now he's fighting some pea-brain, deadweight, Lindworm, whatever he is. Booker T says, would you stop calling Gajora names? His tail's hanging up on the rope. How is that lawful? Booker T says. Because he's got a long tail. He has no running lead over it, Gorilla Monsoon says. Would you stop? Is Drew McIntyre going to beat Godzilla, or the King of the Fiends, or the Kaiser of the Fiends here today? 1, 2, and 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre got lucky, and now he beat not only Ecliptor, but now he beat Godzilla. And I don't know who Drew McIntyre is bold enough to fight everyone of Astronomer's kin. I mean, is he going to be bold enough to fight Algar or Andros next, Gorilla Monsoon says? Well, if he keeps it up, he might lose his right to fight either Oscar or Ricochet, at SummerSlam, Corey Graves says. If he keeps it up, Gorilla Monsoon. I mean, a lot of men have been bold to do a lot of things, Gorilla Monsoon. I mean, no one ever put their hand. I mean, there were some folks that were never bold enough to do some things. But then we bring up the last time the only time that someone ever put their hands on you since you withdrawed as a wrestler. Big Van Vader beat you up, and you were the four-setter at WWE at the time in between 96 YL. Yeah, that did happen, Gorilla Monsoon says. Big Van Vader was handicapped for it, Gorilla Monsoon says. I didn't think he would do something like that. Plus they did that, and he got, and I had Raleigh Piper fill in for me for free for about 3.5 months. And he was sent home for 3 months, Gorilla Monsoon says. But I don't know if Drew McIntyre is that bold enough to do what Big Van Vader did to me, sadly. I don't know, Booker T says. It's like, are you bold enough to beat up Vince McMahon back in the day? Were you bold enough in WWF and WWE? Were you bold enough to beat Eric Bischoff up back in the day in WCW? And we're talking about now, would you be bold enough to beat up Anthony Kong in AEW? That's what I'm saying now. Booker T says, we don't know. But I do know Drew McIntyre has beat Ecliptor and Godzilla. So if he do that, I think he's willing to beat up Algar and Andros as well. Well, thinking of that, Gorilla Monsoon, they could be right about that, Booker T. We're going to take it away now to Jonathan Coachman. Stand up. Thank you, Gorilla Monsoon. I'm going to be talking with Astronomer, the overseer of leadership of the Toy Wrestling Gathering, and the main wicker again. Astronomer, it's true that you did fire Ric Flair as the main wicker of the Toy Wrestling Gathering. However, now you seem to have a bind now. You seem to have a bind now with Drew McIntyre. Well, Jonathan Coachman, I didn't mean want it to become a bind. Drew McIntyre thinks that he should be wrestling Asuka now. He doesn't understand why. He doesn't understand why he needs to yield until SummerSlam to fight whoever wins out a match between Asuka and Ricochet. So he started something. He slighted Ecliptor. Ecliptor had a match with him, won. He beat Ecliptor in the other match. Now he beat Godzilla. I did warn Drew McIntyre, if he prolonged this, he will lose the right to fight for the TWF heavyweight winnings. And I wonder if Drew McIntyre is bold enough to step over the row. So you're putting a row in the sand, as you say. And you're seeing if Drew McIntyre is willing to step over that row. If he does, he loses his right to fight for the TWF heavyweight winnings, and no much of bitching or ranting will shift that. Well, I do want to say, and also, will we have a new first wicker of the Toy Wrestling Gathering. I don't know who or that will be. The wickers that I had, the main wickers I had, was Baron Corbin, John Bradshaw Lakefield, Daniel Bryan, and Ric Flair. I don't know when the next one's going to be. If it's going to be a he or a she, I do not know. Your guess is as good as mine when that's going to happen. Alright, that was my talk with the overseer of leadership at the Toy Wrestling Gathering, Astronema. Back to you, Jonathan. Back to you, Gorilla Monsoon. Thank you, Jonathan Coachman, for talking with Astronema, the overseer of leadership of the Toy Wrestling Gathering. And that's all the time we got here for NXT. And we hope you like NXT. Shit! And up! And up! Bloody hell. Stand the bloody hell up. Both these clippers shooting us all. Well, that's all the time we got here for NXT. I, Gorilla Monsoon, with Corey Graves and Booker T. We hope you like NXT, and we'll see you tomorrow for Dynamite or Mike.